One is told that the calendar year is divided into 4 seasons. Well, while that might be so in some parts of the world, not true in India, where the calendar is divided into 6 seasons. Find out more about that and the most celebrated of all Indian seasons in this episode of Tree Talk. Open any book about nature and you will find that the year is divided into 4 seasons: summer, autumn, winter and spring. Growing up in India, particularly Mumbai, I found this very strange because these seasons really didn't happen, and the most dominant season of all, monsoons or rains, did not find place in this categorization. I was to find out only later that while this holds true for many parts of the world, traditionally in India, seasons have been divided very differently.
Now, India is a very large country, and so it goes without saying that different parts of the country experience these seasons in very different ways. The coastal areas, for instance, have a very different experience of the monsoon or the rains from the interiors, and the sub-Himalayan area has a very different experience of winter from the Deccan. But by and large, this is what the calendar looks like. First up, you have Basant or spring from mid-February to April, the season of mild sunny days after the end of short cold winter days, when buds begin to appear on trees and birds begin to chirp. World over, spring is the season most toasted and celebrated in poetry, and India is no different. Vasant Ritu in Sanskrit poetry, Basant in Hindi, Bahar in Urdu. From Kalidas to Bollywood, there are dozens and dozens of verses, poems and songs about the season. Spring poetry from India would take up an entire episode. Perhaps I'll work on it someday. But I have one episode here on the spring poetry of Sarojini Naidu, the Nightingale of India. Do check it out if interested. I've linked it up below. Moving on. Grishma or summer is from April to June. This is the season of heat, extreme and uncomfortable heat in most parts of India. And in the coastal areas mixed with humidity, it becomes almost unbearable. But it is also the season of color when flowers begin to bloom and trees are laden with fruits. From your scarlet gulmohars to lovely laburnums to juicy lychees and golden mangoes, this is the season for all those wondrous treats. Next, you have Varsha or rains, popularly called monsoon, that extends from mid-June to mid-August, and the monsoons of India are oh so legendary. From thunder and lightning, heavy rains to light showers, mossy carpets to lush greenery, it is the season we all thirst for after the hot summer. Malhar is the rag of the season, and that silly popular English nursery rhyme that generations of Indians learnt by rote, rain, rain, go away, little Johnny wants to play, well, that simply has no place in the Indian psyche. Extending roughly from the start of September to the end of October is the season of Sharad or autumn, which matches with the time of many Indian festivals from Ganesh Chaturthi to Dasehra to Diwali. Birds begin their migration and leaves begin to change color as they all prepare for winter. Next, you have Hemant, which is the period just before winter when the temperature dips, deciduous trees drop their leaves, the days begin to shorten, and this phase ends with the winter solstice, after which you have the season called Shishir, which is winter. This extends from December to February, which is mild in the south but bitterly cold in the north, with snowfall in the upper Himalayan regions. As I release this episode, it is the start of spring, celebrated in much of India by the name Basant or Vasant Panchami. As I said before, spring is the most toasted of all seasons the world over, and India is no different. Basant Panchami marks the beginning of the spring season, and many celebrate this by offering Saraswati Puja, that is, worshipping goddess Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. And yellow is the color of the season, which is symbolic of ripening fields, more sunlight, and golden flowers. May this season of Basant and the year ahead bring us much wisdom and peace. So, if you have friends named Vasant or Grishma, Varsha, Sharad, Hemant, Shishir, and of course Ritu, which means season, now you know what their names stand for.
Life can seem awfully depressing with the popular media constantly pummeling us with negativity. But take a break from them for some time. Step out, smell the flowers, listen to the birds. Spring is here. If you know some beautiful verses or poems about spring in any language, do drop them in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this episode, do share this with friends. Check out some of the other episodes and subscribe to stay posted.